Hey, Spencer,
Yes, Alain.
what is the most savage thing that you could think of right now that you've seen in sports before?
I mean, it'd probably have to go to be like a knockout, like maybe McGregor's on Aldo or something like that.
Fair enough, but I think we got something funnier than that. How about this? Your old team's head coach, Bruce Cassidy, coming out with the cup, with his day with the cup, and coming out with the Boston Bruins goal song. How do you feel?
Gutless. Absolutely gutless.
He deserves it.
No, he don't. Just because he had the best team in hockey does not mean he deserves it.
Whatever. I think we can give him a break. I think it's pretty savage, and I think it's pretty hilarious.
You know what's sad?
too.
I like Bruce Cassidy till this very moment, and now Bruce Cassidy can kick rocks.
Wow.
Thanks, Al. Thank you. You ruined it for me.
Well, my bad.
Can't believe that.
My bad. All right. Shall we?
I guess so.
We shall.
And welcome, everyone, to episode, and I almost did this yesterday on Polar Opposites. Al, is it 15 or 16?
This would be number 16.
There you go, episode 16 of The Outrage. I don't know how I knew I was going to do it, too. I got to look before I'm going to forget, and I never looked, so I forgot. So, episode number 16 of The Outrage. Welcome in. Alec Kevillon, Spencer Byers. Welcome in. So,
here's what I was thinking about, by the way.
Oh, you were thinking? That can't be good.
It was like one of those like shower thoughts.
Oh, heavens. This can never end well.
Well, no, this was one of the better shower thoughts that like isn't weird or anything, and you know.
Okay, it's coherent. Okay,
yeah.
Well, that's an improvement.
How many more episodes are we gonna do, like to the point where we don't have to count anymore and we can just go, and we're back?
I don't know.
It's like we're on 16 now. Like, are we gonna
when I feel like we've been consistent enough for it to matter.
We're gonna go to like, hey, this is episode 159.
Okay, you know what? I'll make you a deal. When we go to multi-days a week, that's when we won't.
Multi-day, geez.
When we go to more than one a week.
We might be able to pull that off.
Like, I feel like when the hockey season starts,
and
you and I are in the full swing of things, that's when Polar Opposites is going to heat up, and the basketball season starts up. That's when you and I are going to heat up, I hope. So that's the hope. Right now, weekly, you know, the outrage will heat up because it needs to heat up more, you know? God forbid you and I need to heat up more. God help us.
I mean, hey, we're pulling it off. Listen, before we get further into this, I think I went through the driest day in sports history yesterday.
Oh, yeah, no. I got told at TSN repeatedly that this is the driest week for sports.
Unbelievable. Listen, over here in downtown Toronto, a lot of rain. But let me tell you, it was dry.
The sports media business was dry.
The sports news.
You couldn't get that thing wet.
Like the Sahara Desert. Couldn't believe it. But we still somehow managed to put together a lineup. And this is where I guess I throw it back to you now because, after all, Spencer Byers, this is your show. You are the host.
This is my show. Like, Polar Opposites is my show.
This is your idea. This is the outrage. Yes, not Polar Opposites, but this is part of the incorporation we've got going on.
Yeah, the amalgamation I've continued to try to grow here with CSM alumni.
I think it'll do better than what do you think?
I mean, yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
We don't even talk about that show.
Right.
No offense to some people I actually quite like of that
Fair
show,
enough.
but we don't talk about that. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the home run derby. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. does pull off the dub, so the Jays now have a home run derby champion who has a whole 11 home runs before the All-Star break, I believe.
I love it.
It was something like 11. But
wasn't much.
Al, do you think that the home run derby win for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is going to affect his second half of the season?
Buddy, he's about to go off. And listen, everyone's saying it too. It's all over social media. Listen, he is going to go off. He is going to have a monstrous second half of the season. Do I think he reaches 40 home runs? Probably not. Do I think he hits 30? I think so. I think he could do 30. I think he could do, heck, I'll even go 35. That's how good I'm feeling about it. But Vladdy's about to go off. Now, don't get me wrong. If I'm dissecting his home run derby performance, it's not the greatest. He obviously did better in 2019, hitting 91 in total, whereas this time he hit 72. But what I liked about it this time, though, was his approach. Is instead of trying to empty the tank on every single swing, it was more like, no, we're going to do this the smart way. We're going to do it where I can hit enough home runs to have a chance regardless. And honestly, the fact that he went second against Julio Rodriguez really helped him because I don't know if I liked the chances of, if Julio Rodriguez would have gone second because in the first round, Julio hit 41, which tied Vladdy's record for most home runs hit in a round. Now, don't get me wrong, Vladdy hit his in a later round when he did that. I believe it would have been the second.
Yeah, because he lost in the final to Pete Alonso.
Yeah, he lost to Pete Alonso. So that was a different record in terms of Julio did it in the first round. So I think it went in his favor in terms of the order, but also the fact that he went back-to-back. Like Randy Arozarena for the Tampa Bay Rays was hot. Like he had a really solid second round, 35 homers. I kind of thought he was going to run away with it because I'm like, man, Vladdy's just barely flirting with 25, the high 20s. So I don't know if he'll pull it off, but he did. And also, first father and son duo to be crowned home run derby champions, being Vladimir Guerrero Sr. and now Vladimir Guerrero Jr., which I think is super cool. And I'm glad that they were the first pair to be able to do it.
Well, it's surprising with how many father and sons we've seen. Like, you would have thought, I don't know if Senior Griffey Jr. would have been able to do it, but obviously Ken Griffey Jr., I believe, got one. But like I'll say parent and son duos like that, normally we see, especially in baseball, unlike other sports. Like basketball, normally the father's long gone, right? And you just out of sight, out of mind. Usually the son's usually better than the dad. Like we see with Klay Thompson, for example. No one really knows who his dad is, and he is a great basketball player in his own right. And same thing with Steph Curry. No offense to Del Curry, but
yeah, Del's pretty good. But
no one's near as good as Steph, though, of course.
But I mean, he also, Del's wife gave birth to, Jesus on the basketball floor. Basically, is what.
Well, the 3-point shooting Jesus,
or God.
Of course.
Yeah, 3-point shooting God.
But do you want to talk about the actual game? Because I didn't watch the All-Star game. I'll be honest. I don't watch All-Star games. I think they're pointless and useless. And I didn't watch it. And it ended 3-2 in favor of the NL with their first win since, I think, 2011, 2012. Been almost
2012.
Over a decade since the NL beat the AL, so it took them a while, but they finally did it in an absolute 3-2 great game, I bet.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it, and it was like... It was weird because... Let's be real here. The pitching is unreal in the majors. It's dominating the game compared to home runs. Like, it's hard. Like, you got Garrett Cole, who went no hits, he was unreal. He pitched in his one inning of work. But for me, I actually wanted to spend a bit more time on the Derby because I just thought it was really weird. The game was what it was. I don't care that the NL, won for the first time in over 10 years. I didn't really care. It was a nice way for them to win in terms of Diaz getting that 2-run bomb in the eighth,
and then winning the MVP.
Yeah, and how scary was that too? Actually, okay, before we go back to the Derby, now this triggered a thought. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. almost went yard on his former teammate Jordan Romano,
who then got pulled because of back tightness. Back tightness.
Yeah, which I thought was crazy, but at the same time, I was hoping that ball would have been fair, just because I've been really salty.
You're a salty guy.
I am a salty guy, but I've been really salty with the trade, the Gurriel trade, and Moreno is whatever, fine. I mean, I would have liked to have seen Jansen go instead of Moreno just because of the youth and also the fact that
he can rake.
He can rake, but he's also not a Band-Aid. Danny Jansen's kind of every time Danny Jansen gets hot, I'm like, well, it's only a matter of time now before he gets hurt again.
Yeah.
But I really was hoping, because I was hoping that would have been like a really big moment for Lourdes going, hey, yeah, you just traded me. By the way, funny, you traded me and I'm an all-star too. Where's the guy you trade? Oh, not an all-star. And I will stick with this till the day I die.
Uh-oh.
Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is a much better option at the plate than Dalton Varsho.
Well, that's obvious.
Everyone's complaining, oh, they can't score with runners in scoring position. Yeah, I know. Listen, people were calling me crazy. Oh, Varsho, great defensive, which is true. He's lived up to that. I'll give him that. He is a stud in the outfield. Whether it's right, left, center, doesn't matter. He is a stud. And they're like, well, it's also a left-handed bat, which is what they need. Great, but he could barely hit 30 homers. And he could barely get on base. Like, he could barely hit with runners in scoring position, whereas the guy you traded for him was leading the team in runners in scoring position the previous season before that. And don't get me wrong, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. might have had a few things to learn in the outfield in terms of coverage. But if he caught that ball dead on, that guy had a cannon. You were getting gunned down trying to go from first to second if you're trying to stretch out, a single into a double. And if you were tagging up from third to home, guess what? There was a chance you were getting gunned down there too. So I will die on that hill that Lourdes Gurriel Jr. should have never been traded. because I think the Jays would be in a much different scenario because, well, look, A, he's healthy, but B, again, it's all about the runners in scoring position. The Jays put themselves in those situations to get a lot of runs. They just don't bring them in. They don't cash in.
Mm-hmm.
So what can you do? But I really like the fact that he was at the All-Star game. He really showed the Jays, like, big mistake on your part. And the Arizona Diamondbacks, who, by the way, are in Toronto now for a 3-game set, are also sitting a lot better than the Blue Jays are right now. They're a little bit more comfortable in terms of wiggle room for playoffs.
They're one of the biggest surprises this season are the Arizona Diamondbacks.
A pleasant surprise.
With their youth movement, spearheaded by a starting all-star in Corbin Carroll.
Yes.
As well as Moreno, who they got from the Jays being their,
Yes.
I believe, starting catcher. They got Luis Guerrero Jr., as you mentioned, from the Toronto Blue Jays as well. So they're a team that is spearheaded by youth, and they are, ironically, in a better spot than the Jays right now, as you mentioned. And arguably the second hardest division in baseball in the NL West, with the Dodgers and the Padres, who have been also garbage, to be honest, which is great. It's kind of funny to watch that absolute money pit like the Mets, but regardless. Yeah, that division should be a bloodbath, and the Diamondbacks right now, the cream of the crop.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Padres, who, by the way, that's who the Jays get right afterwards.
Woo,
Yeah.
NL West.
Yeah, so it's, but I mean, listen, you could say that with any other team, but like the Jays, like, dude, they lost to the Oakland Athletics, where it should have been a sweep. And there's teams they're losing to still, like from the AL Central. They've lost to the Twins. The Twins beat them. Lost a game to the White Sox. Like, they're losing to every team. Like, they're literally taking on almost like the kind of like Toronto Maple Leafs thing, where I tell you the Leafs are the kind of team where they'll beat the teams they shouldn't beat, and the teams they should have no problem taking care of, well, they lose.
But you can't even say that because they haven't beaten Boston yet. And Boston's the worst team in the AL East.
Yeah, the Jays are 7-21, I think, right now in the American League East.
Yeah, which is not going to be helpful when you're playing against probably one of them in the playoffs.
And by the way, if the playoffs were to start today,
the
Jays get the Baltimore Orioles.
Oh, and they're going to get rocked.
Absolutely.
Rocked.
The Baltimore Orioles are no joke, and we knew this. We already knew this. We saw it last year. Like, last year was the year where it was a surprise. If you're still surprised that the Orioles are this good, you weren't paying attention. And we reiterate that quite enough. And also, since we're on the playoff topic, I finally figured out, I texted Spencer after the episode last week. I finally figured out that pitcher that the Jays...
Please forget.
No, I got it. I got it. It rhymes with gelato.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Lucas Giolito.
Lucas Giolito was the other pitcher that is on the market. I did see the charts this morning. Shane Bieber and Giolito are on the market. Or not officially, but those are potential pieces that could be moved.
The rumored trade market.
I've heard already, I think it might have been Jeff Passan or one of the big acclaimed MLB insider. Yeah, anyways, that the Orioles are actually linked to Lucas Giolito, and
that would be hilarious.
That would be, well, yeah. I'm sorry, if the Jays don't get either a Bieber or a Giolito,
and one of them goes to another AL East team.
Oh, you're screwed.
Imagine Bieber goes to the Yankees.
Oh, jeez.
And Giolito goes to Baltimore.
That would be unbelievable.
And the Rays don't buy anyone because they're the Rays.
Yeah,
they don't need to.
No,
they don't need to.
The Rays can get the Rays can get by outscoring their opponents. They can get shelled,
Well, because they've lost like half their pitching core to do Tommy Johns.
No, but I also mean their pitching staff is still somewhat good enough that even though they get shelled by 5 to 6 runs, the Rays will be like, yeah, all right, watch this, we got this. Hold my beer. But yeah, so that was the name I was thinking of. But yeah, so the home run derby was a weird one because I was watching and I thought it was it. I was like, Julio Rodriguez and Luis Robert Jr. to the finals. Book it. Because Robert Jr. took care of business in round 1, made it look effortless against Adley Rutschman.
Yeah, he.
Which, by the way,
what?
Did you see what Rutschman did during the derby?
I didn't, but I heard it. I tuned in right after. I tuned in right after that round. But yeah,
switch hitting.
Yeah, it's because Adley Rutschman's a switch hitter.
Now
a both hitter. They call it. Which is
this something
stupid.
new, or is this something that people knew? Because I did not know.
No, he has been known as a switch.
He
hitter.
switch hits during the regular season.
Yeah.
Okay.
I checked his score, and they say both now. You hit both ways. Yeah. But he's a switch hitter to you and I.
7 for 8 on the right side.
Yeah. So basically, what Al's alluding to is when he started off his round, he went. I believe it was lefty, and he hit 20 bombs left-handed. And then for the bonus round, which I believe he might have got a minute, but you get for the bonus, and don't ask why they do this, but for the bonus round, you get an extra 30 seconds, and then you can gain an extra 30 seconds on top of that if you hit 2 440 home runs and something else. There's 2 qualifiers, and if you do both, you get an extra 30 seconds. So he got extra time and switched hands and hit righty and hit 7 bombs righty to end with 27. And then Robert comes up and he hits 28, and he hit the 28th one in the bonus, but he had 45 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah,
so he could have absolutely shelled poor Adley Rutschman, which does make you feel bad for the number 8 hitter in this competition. Adley Rutschman was the 8th seed of these 8 players, but still, like, it is something to behold to watch a kid go left-handed and then switch and go right-handed and just crush the baseball.
I couldn't believe it. Like, it was just unbelievable. But yeah, it was weird because it was like, okay, like, you thought after the first round, you're like, this is it, this is set, this is what it's going to be. And then after seeing what Castillo, I have the wrong Luis in my head. Same team, though. Yeah, Julio Rodriguez and...
I thought, not who I meant you, I thought you meant Luis Robert.
No, sorry about that. Okay, I can see what you mean. Yeah, sorry, Luis Castillo and Julio Rodriguez both play for the Seattle Mariners, is what
They do.
Anyways, when I saw Rodriguez do what he did, and then I saw how fast and quickly Robert, it is Robert, I can confirm that's what it was.
Yeah, the ESPN broadcast kept saying Robert, so we're going to go with Robert.
But as soon as I saw that, I was like, this is it, this is what it's going to be. But I have proof. I have a receipt. If you go on my Twitter account, I did tweet out.
Of course he's going to plug his Twitter account.
Hell yeah, I am. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Yeah. What did he do in 2019? Started off real hot, and look at that. In the end, where he needed it the most, Pete Alonso didn't even need more than 20-something home runs to beat him. Even though he hit 91 bombs, still didn't win. So for me, I tweeted out, I was like, do I pull up the actual... Nah, we're not going to look for it. I'll paraphrase. God. But basically what I said was, okay, so do you think he'll hit 41 every round? I was like, let's not forget, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hit 91 in 2019 and lost. He lost. Pete Alonso didn't even come close to, I don't even think he came close to 80. I think he was in the 60s at best. Like, that's the thing,
you only need to hit enough to beat your opponent.
I look at Pete Alonso's numbers, too. Like, I can't believe that guy won the home run derby twice.
What do you mean? The guy's a masher. The guy crushes the baseball.
Yeah, sure, but like you look at him and whoever was pitching to him was out. They were out of sync. It looked like his pitcher was throwing in the freaking World Series, like trying to like down everything down and away, nothing in the sweet spot, nothing like that. And even the hacks that Alonso was doing, they weren't pretty. And you look at too, like when he was up against Vladdy in the finals, like I didn't think he was electric then either. It's just a matter of like you said, he hit more than his opponent.
Exactly, which is all you have to do.
By the way, also another fun stat that came out that derby.
Of course.
Julio Rodriguez is the only man that Pete Alonso was not able to beat in the home run derby in his 3 appearances.
Well, there you go. Julio Rodriguez.
Rodriguez has his number.
Apparently. Allegedly.
But yeah, and then it was weird because Robert went down the next round to a Rosarena.
Yeah.
And a Rosarena came out of nowhere and was like, I can hit 35. I got it. No big deal. Mookie Betts, we all knew he wasn't going to go far.
He told everyone before the game, I don't know what's MVP.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know why I'm here.
I think that was the greatest line I heard from Buster Olney on TSN. Was he told us, he said, I talked to Buster at Dodgers, or I talked to Betts before the home run derby at Dodger Stadium, and he said, I don't even hit home runs in BP. I don't even know why I'm doing this. He said, my wife's making me do it. And it was so funny to hear Buster say that Mookie told me he doesn't even hit home runs in BP.
That's great.
That's so funny to me.
It's awesome.
So no W, we know he's not going to do well.
So it was weird in terms of
and he had the second most home runs of the tournament. He has some second most home runs out of any of those 8 guys, and he hit 11.
Yeah, hey.
When
the spotlight's on, you gotta, perform
and
you have that happen. Only 11 home runs.
And you watched it on...
I watched the whole derby, yeah.
Did you see when they had JD Martinez, his teammate, mic'd up, come over and talk to him? And they asked JD, what are you telling Mookie to do for after his timeout or after the break? He says, Mookie, pull the ball. And Mookie was like, I don't know how.
He's like, he's like, I don't know how to do this.
I don't know how to pull the ball.
Or did you see, did you watch it? No. Okay, the moment with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette, and Juan Soto?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, when Romero came over. Romano.
Yeah, Romano too, yeah. And it was hilarious too because
Bo's got the mic. Bo's mic'd up talking to Vlad.
Yeah, he's like, what are you saying for, he's like, and you can hear Bo trying to say stuff in Spanish to Vladdy, and he's doing kind of a good job. And then
Juan.
Soto just switches it up, and then Bo Bichette, what he said. I loved it. And then Vladdy had a good laugh. It was cool. That was mid-round, too. Like, wasn't the end of the round. That was mid.
That was the timeout in between. Because Mookie didn't take his timeout. Again, because Mookie wanted to get this thing over with.
Mookie knew.
Mookie didn't take his timeout. Mookie was in between the bonus time and his 3-minute regulation time. Vladdy took his timeout in the minute and a half, which everyone took about a minute and a half. And then, obviously, that moment happened. Which, again, that was hilarious. I don't know why they had the players mic'd up, because they have no intention of talking to the cameras intentionally. So they just want to be there to be like, hey, we did this, now get this thing off of me. But it was kind of funny to hear Mookie, I don't know how to pull the ball.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
How, JD?
Yeah.
Do you want to do it for me?
That was honestly, like, the fact that
so
more baseball players should be mic'd up more often, because, like, you do get
That's what we want.
That's exactly what you expect. And like, Bo Bichette, like, even just by him saying, what he said, like, you relate to that, but at the same time, it's like, man, that's funny. Like, you didn't know Bo was like that,
Yeah, and then they ask Soto this question. And he looks over and says, Juan.
Oh, yeah. And then
it's Juan answers in Spanish.
Yeah. But before that, he's like, say it again. He says it, like, say it again in English. And then after that, proceeds to answer in Spanish. It was just unbelievable. That was just...
that's what we want. We want these guys to make it more personable.
That's what comedy in sports should look like. None of that BS that we saw at the NHL Awards a few weeks ago, that whole scripted comedy where... Was it Dierks Bentley's kid?
I don't know.
Whatever. It was just all...
It was a child of one of the
television.
Well, of course it's bad television.
And as for the All-Star game, I don't have anything to say about it. The NL won. Good for them, They ended their long drought. You want to hear about another drought? I know we saved it for kicker stories, but I mean, we might as well go because it's a good segue. The Edmonton Elks suck at home.
They suck in general, but they suck at home. They suck in general, but they suck at home.
I'm not spending a lot of time because it's CFL. Nobody cares.
Well, okay, Ray.
But whatever. That's true. Nobody cares. I'd like to hear someone on the that listens to our podcast and goes, hey, don't talk about the CFL like that. I'm going to say whatever I want anyways. But
we already know that, Al. You've had a lot of bad takes.
Edmonton Elks, they now have 20 consecutive losses at home. They have not won a game on home field
since 2019.
Since October 12th of 2019.
Yep.
Wow.
You know what's amazing? I was in the TSN.
Wow.
I was in the booth when the Argos played against the Elks.
Yeah.
In Edmonton.
Yeah.
And Taylor Cornelius, their starting quarterback, got pulled after like the second quarter. So I saw their backup come in, and he tried his best to will the team to some points. But the Argos were just mauling these poor guys. And like you kept feeling it like, oh, this poor Elk team, like they just got nothing going for them. Like there's,
It's sad because like you can't even say like fire the, like what do you do?
Yeah, what do you fix? Everything. How do you do that? I don't know.
I'm sure it's not the coach, but you know what's funny though? I did say this morning though. The Elks have not been the same since Mike Riley was traded to the BC Lions. Was he traded or was it a free agent signing? I can't remember. Anyways, once he was gone to beat the BC Lions, the Elks / Edmonton Eskimos were never the same.
Yeah.
Never the same. And now they can't win a game at home to save their lives.
And they can't win a game in general.
I mean, they have yet to win this season either. So it just makes you wonder, like, what the heck, like, I don't know what to do. First of all, I'm not a football guy to begin with, so I can't tell you, fix your O-line, fix this formation. I don't know what to say. I don't know. But all I know is, like, you're going to blame the coach? I'm sorry, man. Like, maybe whoever's putting the team together. The worst part is they are so bad. I saw a tweet from Arash Madani that in the hotels in Edmonton, they have this QR code thing set up that if you scan it, you have a chance to win free tickets. In this case, it's not a chance. You will win a free ticket because they can't even fill the stadium. It's a big stadium. Luke Combs sold it out a few weeks ago, maybe about a month ago now. That's probably the last time the thing was sold out.
And almost 3 years, yeah, almost 4 years.
Like, geez, it's unbelievable. But anyways, I hope they figure it out because I really would hate for that team to hold the record in the Big Four sports in North America to have the longest home
losing streak.
That's just embarrassing.
I mean, what a way to publicize your league, right? Hey, we have the most losingest team at home ever.
I don't know how you do that, but it's crazy, and I hope they figure it out.
Well, Al, I assume you want to go with this next, so I'm going to go with Manoah with a start on the Tigers. We talked about it on the Thursday going into it. It's now been a little over a week.
Boy, was I wrong.
Boy, were we kind of both wrong.
We were both wrong, but like I didn't think we were going to be that far off.
But Manoah had, I won't say a gem, but he had a really good start.
I mean, considering what he pitched in the Florida Complex League a few weeks ago, yeah, he had a gem. I mean, 8 strikeouts against the Detroit Tigers. Don't get me wrong. Again, it's the Detroit Tigers. Like, let's simmer down a little bit here. He's going to have a tough task. I'm not going to spend too much time. 8 Ks, really happy for him. I mean, the only thing I will say this. All right, his tempo looked good. His delivery looked fine. The only thing is that when he came to throw an off-speed pitcher, when it came to the big punch-out pitch, mostly his slider was locating and hitting the strike zone, but what I noticed is that his delivery, when it came out of his hand, it looked cautious. He still looked hesitant. He didn't, which I don't blame you. You don't want to, the last thing you want is to go, have that outing, one of the worst outings in your big league career, and then go back down, because let's be real here, if he butchers that start, he is not coming back at all. I don't care what, you're not. You can't afford to do that anymore. You can't play around. You gotta win, because you got to hold that playoff spot. But that's the one thing I will take away from his start, is that he still looked cautious on his delivery, and I feel like if that would have been any other team, maybe not the Oakland Athletics, but any other team other than Detroit and the Oakland A's, I think they would have teed off on him, just because they're better. Like, there's actual solid hitters in their lineup, other than, Spencer Torkelson, with and a few other guys. But he did look cautious when it came to off-speed pitches, so that still was kind of a concern for me, but at the same time, he got the job done. So, I liked it. I'm curious to see now what the Jays are going to do with the Diamondbacks, because the Diamondbacks are no joke. This will be a big test, and you got to pitch them. You have to. And it was talked about this morning on the show, on Sportsnet, and how the Jays would line up the rotation. So you got a 3-game set against the Diamondbacks. Zach Gallen confirmed is pitching on Saturday, which is tomorrow. So that'll be July 15th.
That's a loss.
I think if
that's a loss.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a loss.
Honestly, I was thinking about it. Like, man, if you're betting, I would bet for a no-hitter.
I wouldn't bet a no-hitter, but I guarantee you Gallen goes over on innings and over on strikeouts.
I'm going to say
at
at
the line.
least 12 Ks.
Without even looking at the line now, over on innings, over on strikeouts.
Absolutely.
He's going at least 7 full with at least 10
7
strikeouts.
with 12 strikeouts, yeah.
Like at least 10. Plus.
And they were talking about how Gausman should start tonight, and I'm like, maybe not. Like, if you're going to go, I would actually...
You know what? Start Manoah against Gallen.
No.
Just throw her into the fire. Into the fire, Al.
I'm thinking what they should do is you either start Barrios or Bassett tonight, which, by the way,
it's Barrios tonight.
Is Barrios confirmed?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
I saw Barrios expected, I think, on score, so I'm going to go with Barrios.
Okay, so it's Barrios. We'll stick with Barrios. If we're wrong, well,
the Jays messed it up.
Things change once in a while.
The Jays messed it up.
So what I was going to do is actually start Barrios tonight and go with Gausman matched up with Gallen. Because, let's be real, it's going to be a long Saturday.
It's going to be a long Saturday regardless.
It's going to be a long Saturday if the Jays' bats aren't going because Gallen is just so good.
Cy Young contender.
Well, actually, if it would have been voted yesterday, he would have won the National League Cy Young, according to votes and stuff. Like, he's a lock right now. So, but as for right now, though, he is a contender. And it would be a long Saturday in terms of, like, if the bats are cold and then the Diamondbacks' bats are just
Corbin Carroll just starts mashing. And Lourdes Guerrero Jr.
Or even
pulls one to left field.
Yeah, like, it would just be a long Saturday. So I think it's better to have a potential pitching duel, because I think Gausman will go at least 6, and I think he strikes out at least 8. Because Gosman's been the ace
easily,
without a doubt, and he's also up for American League Cy Young contention. So
he's going to lose it to Garrett Cole, but he's up there.
Definitely not a lock. Actually, it wasn't Garrett Cole. I believe it might have been McClanahan. That was a lock.
Well, sorry, I forgot.
But Cole is definitely up there.
I leave the Rays to themselves. Yeah. I leave the Rays to themselves. I don't even count them as AL.
Either way, I think I would go with a pitching duel like that. So if I were to go the order, I'd go Barrios tonight, Gausman tomorrow. Sunday, I don't think you want to feed Manoah to the Padres. You don't. Manny Machado.
It's only a 2-game set against the Diamondbacks? Or is it? I thought it was 3.
It is 3.
So who's Sunday?
Sunday I go Kikuchi.
I go Kikuchi Sunday?
I go Kikuchi before Bassett, because I don't think Bassett, as much as Bassett's been good, I still think he's going through stuff, like, not health-wise. I just think his mechanics / delivery, there's something there. He's not fully comfortable. So I would go Kikuchi ahead of Bassett. And then after that, I'd go Manoah. I'd give Manoah to the Padres. Mm-hmm. Sorry. No, never mind. Scratch that. On Sunday, I'd want Manoah I don't want just because I don't want him to go to have the Padres because I think Soto, Machado, those guys will come in hungry. They see him up. Tatis, yeah, they see him up there. They'll tee off on him.
Even though they've been garbage this year, Bogarts,
right?
They've been garbage.
Then again,
that's
the narrative, right? Like the Oakland A's have been garbage all year long, and look at that. They come into Toronto. Oh, you better get a sweep against the Oakland A's. Nope, they lose the first game of the set.
No, but the joke is, Al, is the A's were supposed to suck. This Padres team has got Juan Soto, it's got Fernando Tatis Jr., it's got Manny Machado, it's got Xander Bogaerts. Those 4 guys right there could be MVP candidates in any given year.
And can easily win you a World Series.
Those 4 guys.
Yep.
That's not including anybody else. Just those 4 hitters who play what? Shortstop, DH, third base, and who's the other name I said? Right field.
Bogarts and right, I think.
I'm thinking Bogarts plays short.
Oh, crap. Yeah, my bad. Why?
Because Fernando plays field/DH, Machado plays third, and Juan plays out in the outfield.
Right, Bogarts is short, yep. But,
Because Fernando can't play defense. We all know that. He's one of the worst defenders in baseball.
I don't know why. Yeah, I just don't feel comfortable with Manoah going up against the Padres.
Bad feeling? Bad vibes?
Bad vibes.
As much as I hate the word vibes.
What I like about this, though, is regardless, Manoah is going to have a home start. And this is where...
Yeah, when is that day going to come,
You want to talk about the pressure in your tires now, Manoah? Like, buddy, there's pressure there because you have a bad start. Listen, Jays fans are already angry enough as it is. I think they're less angry.
They're going to be mutinous if
They're
he
less
has a bad
angry
start.
about the first half now because of Vladdy's performance at the Derby. So
now
don't give him a reason to, reignite that fire. Don't give him that spark because I have a feeling Jays fans are going to be ruthless this weekend.
Well, they already have been because their team is garbage and they're going to miss the playoffs. But anyway.
Yeah, so I would do that. So I go Barrios tonight. I go Gausman tomorrow, match him up with Zach Gallen, and then go Manoah on Sunday for that series finale. And then afterwards, you'd get Kikuchi to the Padres. And then Bassett.
And then Bassett gave him to the Padres, too.
Yeah. And then that
recycle.
That keeps going. And then Hyun-Jin Ryu might be back
eventually
in August. So I think if you're the Jays too, I think you go 6-man rotation because Gausman benefits a lot from the rest, right?
But you figure out first if Hyun-Jin Ryu is healthy. And I mean, like, you give him like 2 or 3 starts in AAA on a rehab stint, which I believe is 30 days for pitchers. You give him a couple for AAA starts to rehab, get himself in game shape. You then bring him up, and then you figure out, you give him maybe 1 or 2 starts, figure out if he's there or not. Even if you just use him in a relief role to start off with, to just give him some innings to get him used to it. And then you figure out, okay, is there a point in doing a 5-man or 6-man rotation, or do we just do a 5 and have one of the starters as a long reliever? So if something goes to hell in a handbasket, we can have somebody in the pen who can go, the rest of the game.
And the good part for the Jays, too, is that they have a guy like Trevor Richards that can help you out. They also have Bowden Francis, who has proven that he can come in to early relief if need be. Obviously, you hope that's not the case, but I think the safe bet here for the Jays would be a 6-man rotation. At least for, they got a tough schedule coming up ahead. Like, I mean, I know like the Padres haven't been as good, but like, if you're the Jays, you can't take anybody lightly. You can't. You just can't. You got to go in there and take it as if like, hey, this is do or die kind of situation. But I hope Manoah has another good start, but I'm interested to see how he's going to do, first of all, because, again, like I mentioned earlier in this part of the podcast, he did seem a little, not so confident with his delivery when it came to throwing off speed pitches, mostly the slider. He seemed a little hesitant in the delivery, so we'll see how that goes. And I'm also interested to see how the Blue Jays fans react if it does go wrong.
Well, no, I gotta be honest, Al. Just because you're editing these episodes makes you swear less, which I'll be honest, makes me feel very happy. Makes me feel very happy.
Yeah, but, I mean, I don't know. I just don't feel the need to swear today.
Oh, okay. You're in a less cussy mood, you're trying to tell me.
I mean, hey, I didn't even swear the last episode.
I know. That's because you edited it, Al. That's what I'm saying. When you edit it, you don't need to swear.
I don't mind editing out a bleep here and there.
I'm
not going to do it. I know you're trying to get it out of me. I know you're trying to get it out of me a little bit.
Squeeze it out of you like a tube of toothpaste.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Al, before we scoop on baseball, because I know you tried to tell me to rap, but on my lineup, I have something written here, and I want to ask you what you mean. It says, what needs to disappear? What do you mean by needs to disappear?
So in terms of
what is this, magic? What do you, like,
I mean, I
like,
wish.
What are you, Houdini?
No, I'm not that good.
I know. What are you, David Copperfield?
I'm not that guy, pal. I'm not that guy.
You've never been that guy.
It was more like the habits, the approach, like in terms of like what needs to go away for the Jays to be successful.
Oh, the Jays.
Forward.
The Jays need to go away for the Jays to be successful.
Well, no, not really. But
they need to move to Montreal.
Which is pretty much I guess a consistent bullpen is what you need, obviously, but that's been fine. The guys have been pretty solid.
They need their best players, and this is gonna sound real simple,
to be their best players.
Wow, they need Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to hit more than 11 home runs in the first half.
That's a cliche.
They need a catcher to stay healthy.
I agree.
They need Matt Chapman to show up like he was in April.
Yep.
They need one of those bench guys, if it's Espinal, if it's Biggio, to show up and be an actual constant.
You know what? At the end of the day, what they need, Spencer, is
help.
They need. It sounded better in my head, but I realized as I was about to say it, it did not sound as good as I thought it did. Let's see if I can do this. Oh,
articulate.
They need Brandon Belt to not be their Lord and Savior.
Well, you'd think that's obvious, but no, you're right. Yeah,
but that's what it is.
You can't have Brandon Belt with your MVP in the first half.
If you're going to summarize what you just said with all the players that you listed off that need to be better, Bo's been fine. I haven't had an issue with him.
Bo was the only one I didn't mention because he's hitting like 300 right now.
Right. Vladdy's been, Vladdy's got a good average. He's just not hitting that home run, those home runs.
What he's there for. Which is what he's there for.
Exactly.
Like, that's what you're paid to do.
And
like Austin Matthews, I don't care if he has 100 points. He's supposed to be there 50 goals.
Yeah.
He's got 40 goals, not good enough for him.
Bring in runs. You got to score runs. Get some run support for your pitchers. So, mostly Kevin Gausman.
Mostly Gausman, because poor Gausman.
So many.
He's like Jake DeGrom.
Yeah, just can't get run support to save his life. Like it's unbelievable. So that's what But that's at the end of the day. If you want to summarize what needs to happen for the Jays to have a successful second half of the season, is they need Brandon Belt to not be their self-proclaimed MVP / he cannot be the Lord and Savior for that ball club. It needs to be the guys that are there and that are known
the
to
stars.
be.
It needs to be the superstars. It needs to be Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
They need clutch hitting. You can't just. I don't mind small ball. I don't care as long as you bring in runs. I don't care how you do it. Just bring in runs. Have better at bats. Have better plate appearances. And I don't mean plate discipline. I don't think their plate discipline's been awful. It's just a matter of like their approach. Like. Mm-hmm. Clear your minds. Start having fun again. And that was something that was brought up too, is that this team, the way it's structured now compared to last year was a lot of fun. Teoscar Hernandez, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Vladdy, all those guys were having fun. There was it Labarrio? That's what they had? The little club, the little group they had in their dugout got broken up with the trades, right? And I think that's what needs to happen for Vladdy. I'm glad he's taking it seriously. I'm happy for him. But Vladdy plays much better when he's having fun. And I don't think he's having as much fun because of the atmosphere in the dugout and in the clubhouse. Not saying that someone's coming down hard on somebody about their play or anything like that. No, I just mean he needs that light breezy environment, like what we saw at the home run derby. That's what he needs to be successful, is to just have fun, clear your mind, go up to the plate, and not just Vladdy now. This will be my last point to that for what needs to happen for them to have a successful second half. Just clear your mind. Stop trying to be the hero. Don't put it in your head, I'm this guy. I have to be him because this is what. Yes, don't get me wrong. The Jays brought you in to be, the guy that can bring in runs and all that. But they're not asking you to, move the moon every game. Mm-hmm. Go up to the plate, look for a pitch, look for what you like, look for something that's in the zone or whatever you're comfortable with hitting, and make contact. Mm. Don't think of this. Don't think of the scenario. Just go up there and you go, I got a baseball to hit.
Yeah.
And then whatever happens, happens. Let it happen. But until then, they got to loosen up a bit. They got to loosen up at the plate. And yeah, again, for the third and final time, hopefully, Brandon Belt cannot be their Lord and Savior, because the fact that Brandon Belt was their best player in the first half of the season says all you need to know about how the Jays season's going so far.
It's the case point to what the problems have been for the Toronto Blue Jays, as Al continues to throw the finger at me, and no, not the middle one. So before we get into the NHL,
I wouldn't do that.
Oh, you lie. You've definitely put me off at least once or twice, and I probably deserved it. But I'm not saying
Fair
that.
Enough.
But it's, you definitely have.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. I might have done it a few times.
Oh, you probably did it before you even liked me, because remember you and I talked about the first episode that when you and I first met, you were not a big fan of me, which was kind of funny.
Yeah, and it's crazy too, because like when we talk about it, I think for those of you who listen to us on a regular basis, you've heard me say this a few times. It blows my mind that me and Spencer have a podcast together and can be in the same room together for more than 5 minutes, because I could not stand him the first time I met him. But
Because I'm great, he eventually warmed up and we're like, hey, this guy's kind of sick.
Can I say the S word?
I mean, you're going to edit it, so
are you going to want me to bleep it out?
Well, I mean, I'm probably going to want you to bleep it out, but regardless.
Spencer was a shithead.
Oh, there you go. My sister probably agrees with you on that one.
Yeah, there you go. I forgot about that. That's great. Gotta love it. But anyways, it's cool how things work out sometimes, and it happens. Now we have a kick-ass podcast for you to listen to. You're welcome. Mostly, I'm saying you're welcome on Spencer's behalf because, let's be real, I don't think I'd be on a podcast right now if it wasn't for him. It was all his idea. It's all credit to him. And, yeah, you got him to thank for all the content that we're bringing you.
You know, the content we will bring you. But before we get into Alex DeBrincat finally getting dealt, and finally getting a new contract as Al as Al screams in the air in happiness. You wrote this on the lineup, so I want to give you the chance to talk about this. So Ben Stetler, who was the Oilers super fan, was the little kid that the team kind of galvanized around. He had cancer. He passed away last
Play La Bamba,
August.
Baby.
Yeah.
That's how you might know him from.
Yeah, he was the fan that the Oilers team last year really galvanized around. He passed away last August, and his family continues to rain bad news, it feels like.
It's so tough. I couldn't believe this when I read this on Twitter late yesterday afternoon / early evening, I guess you could say. It came out on Twitter that Ben Stelter's dad, Mike Stelter, has been diagnosed with cancer very early on. In terms of like news, I guess you can say. So like we don't know what stage. There is a GoFundMe page. You can find it on his Twitter page. Just type up Mike Stelter and you'll find him. He's not hard to find. It's pretty out there. And it just sucks because it's one of those where like something bad's happening to really good people. And the Stelters were actually there to present Connor McDavid. I believe it was the Hart Trophy. The Hart Trophy Award.
Well, he got a bunch of them, so I mean, you can pick which trophy you got.
They were there. They were at the NHL Awards, and they were there to give him to present him with his award, and also McDavid donating $20,000 to the Ben Stelter Fund, thanks to Paul Bissonnette actually, who was like, "Hey McDavid, you say this to the camera. If you thank the hot tub to the camera, I'll donate $10,000 to your charity," and then McDavid matched it, and then it ended up, anyways. So it came out on Twitter that he was diagnosed with cancer. He had back pain and then got an MRI, and as a result, it was discovered that there is a tumor that developed on his spine, and he has to go to the United States to get treatment because it's not treatable in Canada.
Well, that's a dangerous place to be.
Yeah, so... But anyways, I just wanted to mention it because Ben Stelter is a very well-known name in the hockey community, and so is that entire family. And if you can, maybe check out their GoFundMe page or try to, maybe put a couple dollars towards a cancer charity of your choice or whatever, just for research and treatment. Because I mean, this really sucks because that family's been through a lot, and now the fact that they somewhat have to go through that again. It's not the same tumor / cancer that Ben had. Ben was to his brain, and Mike's is to his spine. But I just wanted to mention it just because I really hope this one has a better ending.
You'd have to hope so.
So I don't know if they'll listen to the podcast, but we're thinking about you. We're sending our well wishes. We hope that you beat this thing. Put up a good fight for your little boy Ben, and hopefully you could stay with us in the long run. But so go check that out on Twitter. Mike Stelter's page. I don't have his handle, but again, he's not a hard guy to find. If you search up his name in the search bar, his GoFundMe page pops up right away. So go check that out. Make sure you show your support because that family needs all they can get right now because it's really unfortunate circumstances right now what that family's got to go through.
Well, I don't know if cancer's ever touched your family. I have to assume it has. Cancer, I feel like, touches everybody's family.
On my dad's side mostly, but no one close enough to me. I guess you could say that it's affected me, but...
So you've been one of the lucky ones, trying to tell me.
I wouldn't say lucky ones because I did have... so at my high school graduation, his name was Brady, and he had beat cancer, and then he was in remission, and then it came back, and then a few months after graduation, he did pass away. which was tough because alphabetically we were sitting next to each other in the auditorium, and we gave him a standing ovation and everything because, like, you know, you graduated while battling cancer and all that, and it hit home. It hit hard a little bit because it was one of those where, like, he was a happy-go-lucky kind of guy, nice guy. Like, not a single person would say anything bad about him. Like, he was really just a kind soul, and so that's probably as close as it gets in terms of how cancer impacted me. But cancer has I'm sure, like you're about to say, Spencer, impacts everybody in a different way.
Touches every family. My sister passed away of it. My grandmother passed away of it. Her father passed away of it. My aunt technically still has it. So, touched my family a lot. Likes to. I don't know why, but it likes to touch my family a lot. But, no, it's important to talk about topics like this, even though it definitely puts a dour, as obviously you can tell with our somber tones, that it drags down things. No, but it's important to talk about because everyone deals with it. And it's the thing of, you know, if you talk about it, it makes it more real, which hopefully makes people more aware. And no, you can't necessarily prevent cancer like other things, but still, regardless, it's important to help people when they're in need.
And also talking about it, like, can take a bit of weight off your shoulders a little bit, right? Talk to somebody. It's like Liam Hendriks said at the ESPYs.
And he beat cancer as well.
He beat stage 4 cancer as well. Yeah, now he's back to throwing 95 miles an hour in the big
White
leagues.
Sox, who suck, but anyway.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's no proper way to end
a talk like this,
a topic like this, other than just we're gonna move on.
yeah, we're gonna stick to hockey.
Yep.
Just like Ben Stetler's favorite sport.
Yep.
And Alex DeBrincat, as I mentioned, finally got dealt. He's now a Detroit Red Wing, which I think is great for Detroit.
He went home.
He got 4 years at 7.5, something like that.
7.5, yeah.
Yeah, $7.8 million a year. So
I don't have much to say on it, other than if I'm William Nylander's agent right now, I am pissed off.
You shouldn't be.
Oh, yeah, because Nylander wants 10. Leafs are like, we'll give you 8.5 at best. And then it's like, well, Alex DeBrincat. Okay, here's the thing. The only reason why DeBrincat got 7.5 is because he hasn't been healthy as much. But if DeBrincat's healthy, guess what? He's getting Nylander money, or like he could be in that 8.5 mil conversation. Easily, without a doubt. And this, as much as some people might not want to believe it, this is going to impact Nylander's contract. But overall, though, if where I'm sitting right now, it sounds like there's a stalemate, which I'm not surprised. It's William Nylander. There was a stalemate with Kyle Dubas. What do you think was going to happen with Brad Treliving? And Treliving is not Kyle Dubas. He's not on the friendship side of things right now. He's on the, hey, I'm here, I'm business. You like, I'm going to do what it takes to make this team great. Whether you want to be a part of it, that's up to you, bud. And honestly, I think at this point, it's if Nylander isn't you got to do Nylander before Matthews. Because whatever Matthews' number is, which I think the Leafs already have that number for him, Nylander's going to go, well, I want close to that too. And you're not going to be able to do that. So either way, at the end of the day, you end up moving Nylander. Now, for what? I have no clue. And regardless of what the trade is for Nylander, whether it's a good one or a bad one, you can, heck, unless, if it's Connor McDavid, then you're happy. Which, relax, it's not Connor McDavid. It's not happening. Relax before you bite my head off, all of you listening. But unless it's Connor McDavid, it doesn't matter what the return for William Nylander is, because every Leafs fan is going to see the success he's having with whatever team he ends up on, and is going to go, why the heck did we give him up? That trade is never going to sit right. And the reason why I kind of don't want them to trade him right now is because I want him. I think the Leafs, I don't think it's their if Treliving makes the right moves, I think they have a shot to contend once again and to win a round at least. Hopefully 2 this time, baby steps. And after that, if he walks, guess what? That's a big amount of cap space that you have now. Like, that's a lot of money coming off your books, and the free agent class next year, Spencer, is not going to be that bad. You could pay somebody to come over and fill in those shoes. Now, who is it? I have no clue. Don't ask me that. Plus, it's only July anyways. I'm not really thinking about that. I'm just saying, if he gets traded, no one's going to be happy with it, no matter how great the return is. And if he walks for free, well, you're still not going to be happy anyways because you let him walk for free. But look at it on the bright side of things. If he walks for free, you got money to play with now, and you can go after whoever the heck you want. That's my William Nylander TED Talk. Thanks for coming.
Well, yeah, see, and I was surprised you put Nylander on the lineup again because again we talked about it last week how Nylander's in the media circle every single day.
Right, but this time there was actually. But what did I say too? I said unless there's actually something relevant to tie him into, I don't want to hear it. Like people were bringing up William Nylander for the last couple of weeks for what? For what? All we knew was
just to upset you, Al. I thought you knew that. Just to upset you.
Well, it worked. All we knew is that he was in contract talks. That's it. Great. Now there's at least an angle to it where you could say, hey, Alex DeBrincat just got this amount of money. This impacts him big time. And I'm actually curious, though, why do you think this doesn't impact him, Spencer? I'm actually curious now. I want to know. I want to pick your brain. Go
honestly,
ahead.
Very simply, I don't think this affects him because I don't think they're the same player. I don't think they're the same player at all. Like, people talk about Timo Meier. Like, I really dislike when people talk about how, this contract will affect this contract. No, they don't. No, they don't. Contracts are a case-by-case basis. Period. You know how I know that? Because Draymond Green's not worth $30 million to any NBA team on earth that's not named the Golden State Warriors. Someone might pay him it, but he's not worth it. You understand what I'm saying? So contracts are case-by-case basis. William Nylander is not a $10 million player. He might be a $10 million player to the Leafs, but he's not a $10 million player. But someone's going to pay him it because that's the expectation. And there are bad enough teams with enough cap space they can afford to pay him that. And that's the difference. So I really dislike when people look at contracts like, say, the Pierre-Luc Dubois contract that he just signed in LA, or the Timo Meier contract that Timo signed with, I think, New Jersey way early in the process, or this brand new DeBrincat contract and saying, well, that's going to affect Nylander. No, it's not. William Nylander says, I'm worth this because of this. I don't care what DeBrincat got. I don't care what Timo got. I don't care what, I forgot the other name I was talking about, Dubois got. I don't care. I did this. I'm worth this. This is what I'm getting. Because what everyone seems to misunderstand is, yes, Timo Meier's a 40-goal scorer. Yes, Alex DeBrincat was a 40-goal scorer. Yes, Pierre-Luc Dubois is a center and has had some good seasons across the board for both Columbus and Winnipeg. The difference is, not one of them's had a point-per-game season. William Nylander has.
That's fair.
Just this season alone, by the way. He had the best season of all those four guys. So if you're saying all these four guys are going to affect him, you're right. They're jacking the price up. Because all these guys, Alex DeBrincat had 66 points last year. Al, he got almost $8 million. William Nylander had 87 points this year.
Yeah, I mean, points. Yeah, okay, you're right. He does deserve to get paid. I guess the reason why I think it impacts it a little bit is because, well, listen, as far as we know, when Nylander says, I want to win here and I want to stay here, this is where I want to be.
Lie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you said it, buddy. But we haven't heard otherwise. So as far as I'm concerned, it still reigns true. So that's why I think it does impact his contract right now. But obviously, like, we're also not dumb. We can read between the lines at one point. The fact that if he really wanted to stay with the Leafs and really wanted to win with this group, he would, and he would do whatever it takes. And so would other players. Like, again, I've said this on the last 2 episodes now at least. Look around the league at the teams that have won and look at what their contract situations were like. Ignore the Vegas Golden Knights and Tampa Bay Lightning. Those are the only 2 I'll say. Other than that, there were pay cuts taken at some point so that the management could build the team around the core players and afford them so that they could win. This is not what's happening right now with Toronto. And I don't blame Nylander for wanting to get paid this time. I don't. But listen, I think he does know this. I'd be surprised if he comes out and says, I don't know this. But if you want to get paid, you can get paid. You just will not be repping the Maple Leaf
it won't
and
be
the
paid,
blue and white.
You won't be paid here,
No.
is the answer, Al. You won't
Absolutely
be paid here.
not.
Well, and again, it's because they can't afford him. Like, I don't know where this conversation keeps coming from. Like, I don't understand why this is even an argument. They can't afford him. If the answer is more than $8 million, the answer is they can't afford him. That's the reality.
8.5 is the most they could do.
And I don't think it should go that high.
Me neither.
But the reality is he's going to want more, and he's going to get more by some other team that's garbage who's trying to get on the upturn. If that's somehow Detroit, if that's somehow, even Ottawa now, if they don't get Tarasenko.
I think he lands in a Western Conference team.
But I'm just saying teams that would be willing, that could afford him, that would want him. You know what I mean?
I could see. So Calgary Flames have been thrown around.
That's no.
Which is nuts.
He would say no as quick as possible to that garbage. I'm honestly
thinking Nashville.
I mean, Barry Trotz has been wants to make a move, wants to make a splash. I just don't know if he'd want to go. That's the thing, though, because he has now since July 1st. I think he has no trade.
The cap space has tightened up a little bit since.
But I also think he's got a modified no trade. I think he's got a somewhat no trade clause. So I think he can also kind of choose where he doesn't want to go. Right.
Right. So that would be interesting.
So that also dictates what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
You can't just trade him to a bottom feeder and be like, "He go to San Jose." Like, no, that's not going to happen. Right. So he's gonna have to go to somebody like. Maybe here's a shout for you. I don't think they can do it. I don't think they'll be able to make the money work. But Vegas, they love making swings.
Yeah, and they're a business. So like if they really wanted him and
they'd find a way to get him there. Right?
Carolina and Calgary are the two teams right now.
Yeah, and Calgary,
Carolina.
I
don't really count him out on anything. But the thing is, Carolina kind of reminds me of Montreal. It's like when Montreal says they're in on someone, it's like, oh, of course you're in on everybody.
Exactly.
The only difference is one team can make it work and the other team says they're in, and then it's like, oh yeah, on second thought, yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
So like if Carolina, Calgary's been thrown around. I could also see maybe Washington. I actually read Evgeny Kuznetsov actually requested a trade.
Yeah, he wants out.
That's cap space right there, maybe.
Yeah, but it does leave one Evgeny. They don't want the problem of Evgeny Kuznetsov, who's a great player but has some problems.
Do we? I'm about ready to wrap this up, to be honest. But do we want to talk about Alex Galchenyuk? Did you hear what happened?
There's just no point.
No point?
I'll summarize it real quick.
All right.
Dum Dum got signed to a new contract for the Coyotes for the third time.
Yes.
Dum Dum got released after 12 days.
Yes.
Dum Dum got arrested the same day for an alleged hit and run incident.
Which led to his release.
Which is what led to him getting cut, because we didn't know that before. We only heard about the contract release. We didn't hear about the arrest till after.
And a few other charges along with that. Not disorderly conduct. Well,
all I saw was hit and run.
I just
saw hit and run allegation. That makes sense.
And resisting arrest was one of them too, for sure. But anyways, there's a couple other charges. So so there you go. So that's the Alex Galchenyuk situation.
Yeah. Alex Galchenyuk, real smart guy, got signed to the desert for the third time. Real smart guy got cut after 12 days. 12 days. He was official player of the Arizona Coyotes for 12 days, and then got cut. And then we hear that he got cut the same day he got arrested for a hit and run. And as you mentioned, a litany of other charges.
So,
I guess going back to the KHL.
Yeah, I was gonna say your NHL career is over. So go have fun.
If it was not already playing in Arizona,
have fun meeting up with Jake Virtanen and all those other guys playing in the KHL. Also, something that you might want to keep your eye out on. The NHL has released, or they haven't officially released, but they have said that they have the information they need regarding the 2018 incident, sexual assault allegations with Hockey Canada.
Against the World Junior team.
Against the World Junior team, Team Canada. And it seems, according to reports, this is Rick Westhead, who's does terrific coverage for around these types of situations. There is enough to charge at least 5 players.
Wow.
5 of the 8 that are alleged to be
involved,
like very involved, like
the key cogs.
Those are the key. Is it suspects?
Felons.
I don't know.
Even the felons is American.
So yeah, it's reported to be believed that there's 5 of the 8 players that are allegedly involved in that incident
that have been kind of pointed out
that can be charged. And London police has yet to release any comment. They just keep saying, well, the investigation is still pending. So something to keep your eye out on in terms of news. There might be something
and we will
big.
Talk about it when it comes out, because those 5 guys are guys you and I probably watched, right? Because those World Junior players, you and I are actually 2018. 2018, you would have been still at Fanshawe.
Yep.
If not before going to Fanshawe.
I was actually covering. I was there. I was at the game when they had that pre-tournament game with against Czech Republic.
See, so
at the time they were Czech Republic. Now it's Czechia. Don't come at me. I still know my terms and stuff. But yeah, so I was actually at that game. I was in my first year of college, so it was 2017, 2018. Yeah.
Yeah, see, and I would have been still obviously cheering for the Attack, so I was senior the team. Yeah. So we'll see who the players that I'm pretty sure. Wait, where was this World Junior? Was it in Canada? Was it in London?
The incident happened in London, which is why London police is involved.
Okay, that's what I assumed.
It was a pre-tournament thing, yeah.
But because wasn't it the actual tournament in the U.S.?
No.
Was it like Buffalo or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I was thinking that it might be the U.S. police involved, but no, it is the Canadian police.
No, yeah, pre-tournament. It was a pre-tournament incident. It took place in London.
But that changes things, because if it was in the U.S., it would be a felony. Yeah. Because they use felonies and stuff. They misdemeanors. We don't here in Canada. So we have just a criminal code.
We'll see what happens with that, but definitely something to keep your eye out on. That's pretty much like the biggest news, the second biggest, like one of the bigger news
items that will be coming out within the next couple of weeks, which again, we will talk about it when it does come out. Sure. And we'll talk about the shakeout of whatever happens.
Nevertheless, this has been episode 16 of The Outrage from Spencer Byers and myself, Alain Kevion. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your weekend. Whenever you listen to this, we hope you enjoy whatever it is you're doing. This has been The Outrage.